Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I want to talk about the trailer that just came out at the time of me recording this for the fourth and final season of Black Lightning. If you haven't seen a trailer already, I'll include a link to it in the description down below. It's a very short trailer, so it doesn't give us too much information about what we can expect from this fourth and final season, but gives us kind of enough. Whereas we see at one point Jeff is in front of a grave. My mind immediately thought like, well, he most likely must be going to visit his dad's grave because they're probably going to his dad for like inspiration because obviously he hasn't had his dad in his life for a long time to fully guide him. So I was thinking that, but then later on I was like, oh, it must be Henderson because let's not forget, Henderson sadly died last season. So that's a fresh enough wound where it's probably combined with like what the storyline is where he's like, basically he feels like he should give up being Black Lightning because Black Lightning was all about saving the world, but all Jefferson Pierce wants to do is save his family. And so my immediate thought was maybe he feels like he's failing in that department and here's another character he failed to save and protect, his best friend. But then my brain starts going, well, you take that storyline and him wanting to say like Black Lightning is dead and Gabby being like, no, you're a symbol for, Freeland. Without you, Freeland is lost. And for him, it's like Freeland is already lost. That my mind immediately went like, maybe it's someone in the family. It might even be Lynn. Because part of me was also thinking like, could they be doing like interestingly enough, season 4 of Arrow, if you remember, they kind of had a grave mystery about like who's in the grave, because they cut back to it every once in a while, but it's not till like much later in the season it finally gets revealed who's the character that died. I'm wondering, they're doing that. Could they be potentially doing that? Could it be a thing of you see it immediately, like it's so-and-so's grave and it's just the stories leading up to that? I feel like if they were to go down that route, it'd be much like Arrow, it'd be a mystery. But like I said, it wasn't till I watched the trailer for like the third time, like I said, because it's only like 40 seconds, that crossed my mind. Because initially, like I said, I thought it was his dad, and then I was like, maybe it's Henderson's grave. I don't know. I'm curious about that, because it's just like the fact is that he's given up being Black Lightning, which I mean, this is the second time, but him being like Black Lightning is dead, that he wants to kind of put it to bed. Because it's interesting, because from what we see in the trailer, he isn't in the Black Lightning suit. Like anytime he's using his power, it's just as Jefferson Pierce. But we do see, Anissa dressed up as both, Thunder and, doing the Blackbird thing. Obviously that's not done, because I think for her, it's like she's still able to do so much more as Blackbird than she probably can as Thunder, because she probably feels like she's kind of hindered to a certain extent in that regard. So I'm interested in seeing that. But obviously we see her and Jennifer as Lightning kind of doing their thing. What that necessarily correlates, obviously we get a little bit of a look at Tobias. Obviously he's running free. Like now obviously we're still not clear what he's going to do with his freedom. I guess try to rebuild his power and everything. Obviously Freeland's dealing with the aftermath of everything in season 3. Obviously, there's still a lot of loose ends. There's the whole situation. Obviously, Lala's still a potential, whatever that situation is going to be. There's also, I'm already blinking on her name, and I always forget about Jill Scott's character's name, like where that potentially will go as well, So there's so many angles to kind of take from season 3, because it seemed like season 3 they were ending on like a decent enough note where it's like everything is good. I mean, the real through line that was kind of like, oh, that's still kind of left open. It's like, well, let's not forget Lynn's still addicted to the green light thing, and obviously that got even that is at this point the family doesn't even know that that's still a situation that they've got to deal with. So I'm really curious to see ultimately how they end this season off, because from what they built the trailer around, it seems like a very like, this might be a really depressing season to a certain extent, and this potentially being the final season and everything makes that even more heartbreaking to potentially think about. But I'm curious to see where the story goes. Like I said, we got like 40 seconds of like this season. I mean, most of that might have just been taken from the first episode, because sometimes they do that with some of their trailers, that it's mainly just stuff from like the first episode sprinkled in with some stuff from the rest of the season. I don't know. I'm really curious to see where the season takes us with all of this. Obviously, these are just some of my thoughts. I'd love to get to know your thoughts. What are some things you want to see? What are some things you expect to see in the final season? Just let me know your thoughts. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.